Well, it's Friday the 28th of March. We're in the south of France, the sun is shining, and this is Saturday Yacht Kitchen.
Saturday Yacht Kitchen. Saturday Yacht Kitchen. Saturday Yacht Kitchen.
Welcome back to our third episode of Saturday Yacht Kitchen, live from the south of France. And our first guest and our in-house chef, ladies and gentlemen, a big warm welcome for Duncan Biggs from Ocean Wave.
Thank you very much.
So, how is life at Ocean Wave and how's the summer kicking in?
Oh, it's really kicking in at the moment. We're really busy. We're doing the ship's cook certificate. That's one of our bigger things that we do at the moment. Luckily, I've been out on the ocean. Doing our powerboat level 2 training. Oh, it's been absolutely fantastic.
Good time of year for that, isn't it?
Oh, it really is. It's perfect for that. So,
and
we're
so
doing
basically,
really well.
you're doing the ship's cook's certificate,
Yeah.
and that's something every chef who's on a yacht over 10, is it 10 guests?
Over 10, any more than 10 crew.
Oh, 10
not
crew.
guests,
Okay.
nothing to do with the guests. So it's any more than 10 crew, and it's now become the standard. And you know, people are looking at CVs, captains are looking at CVs. And even though it's a requirement for any more than 10 crew, if you don't have it and you're looking for a new job on a yacht and you're coming into the industry, you've not got any experience, I'm afraid you're going to have it.
Yeah,
But make sure if you go on a 35 metre, 6 crew, 8 crew, then that's fine. You don't need your ship.
Okay, so it's only if it's only 10 crew or more, then you have to have it, and if it's under, you don't. So maybe if you're a new chef to the yachting industry, you're going to be on a smaller yacht this season, you might not need to maybe spend the money on it, but once you move up and you want to go to bigger boats, you have to do it. Simple as that.
But on the flip side of it, we're having captains asking us that we need somebody with a ship's cook certificate.
Okay.
So it's a bit of a catch-22.
Cool. Well, we'll be back with you in a minute, but we've also got with us today our flower expert, and this is our spring floral edition of Saturday Yacht Kitchen. I keep getting that wrong, don't I? But basically, ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause for Monique, who's come and joined us today. And you are our flower expert, and you're in-house now for Riviera Gourmet, and we're going to make sure that we provide a great service. Tell us a little bit about you and your background in flowers and how we came to be in this position right now.
I worked with artificial flowers before, like decorating parks and everything.
Okay.
Big arrangements, big decorations. And after a few years, I thought I would love to work with real flowers. So I studied, and then I was a florist. And suddenly I thought, I want to have a second life and start in the south of France.
So
working with real flowers. That's why I'm here since 2 years now. Yes.
Yeah, wow, okay. So I think this year's going to be quite fun because we're going to introduce you to literally all of the boats that we work with, make sure that we can look after them for their flower needs and their aft deck arrangements and things like that, and it's going to be quite fun. Today, what are we going to be talking about with you? Because you're going to show us a few bits and pieces and a few tricks of the trade. What are you going to show us today?
Okay, how to prepare flower arrangements, how to prepare them to make arrangements, so the cleaning of the flowers, and how to make them stand longer, and
how to make sure that the flowers stay in the best condition they can whilst on board. I mean, it's a big thing for yachts, I think. Yeah. And Duncan, you've been on the boats for a couple of 100 years now, so you would know. But I would have thought it's quite a bone of contention for the team, the interior team, to make sure that they are absolutely immaculate all the time.
I mean, you're travelling all the time. You're moving. You're south of France. You're going over down to Sardinia or Corsica or something like that. You're moving all the time, so it's keeping those flowers fresh, trying to keep them as long as possible, and rejuvenating the different flower range. And I've only seen this. I've seen this wonderful stewardesses doing their work, and that's the only reason I know anything about it. So I'm not saying I'm a florist.
Well, you're a chef, and so today we decided to do a couple of cool dishes, and the first one was a beef cheek. Is that right?
Yeah. So what we thought was a bit of a surprise, right? We chefs out there, you've got charters. You're going to be using the Wagyu. You're going to do the steaks, you're going to be doing this sort of stuff. but let's sort of like highlight the facts that we can use beef cheeks. A little bit obviously less expensive than what we would be using if we use a Wagyu, but you can now obviously get Wagyu beef cheeks. But we're talking about braising technique. Now, from a chef's point of view, if you can make that up nice and slow, maybe cook it overnight in an oven, just relax, you know, have plenty of liquid in there, and that comes out, that flavour comes out, and then what we can do is we can use that, and we can do many things with it now. We can actually just strip all that lovely beef down after we've prepared it correctly, strip it all down, flatten it out in a pan, and then put it in the refrigerator. Then it's going to make a solid sort of like rectangle or whatever way we want to display it, and then we can just sear it off and finish it on the plate.
Yeah.
Or what we can do today is in a beautiful jus, we reduce that jus down, and then what we can do is place it on the plate, and we're going to show you later on how to do that. A few bits of lovely spring vegetables or whatever vegetables you might have, a beautiful mustard mash, grain mustard mash, and then we're going to present that, and that beautiful gravy, the beautiful flavours from the beef cheek are going to work so well.
I mean, you know, I think beef cheek's quite cool because, I mean, obviously on yachts, everybody wants to have fillet, they want ribeye, sirloin. But actually, and we were talking about it beforehand when we were going to discuss how we were going to do this today, we were talking about that on some of the smaller yachts, they still want to do something really cool, but they don't maybe want to smash their budget by bringing in Wagyu fillet or sirloin or something, and or even Black Angus. They might want to have a cheaper cut of Black Angus, and they might want to have something that's actually going to not kill the budget. Because as we both know, if you're on a 30, 40, 50 metre, whatever's left could be a tip. And not maybe on an 80, 90 metres, it's a different world. But you do want to make sure that you're not destroying that budget by only buying really premium cuts. You don't have to. You can use cheaper cuts, which are absolutely fantastic. Nothing wrong with them.
More flavour.
More flavour. And wow the clients.
And you're actually using your chef artistry to actually produce something with flavour that looks fantastic. You know, the glossy sauce that we produce today with that beef, just by reduction process, is amazing. And it's not hard to do. It's something you can prepare in advance, and then when you're ready to serve it, it's nice and easy to do. You're not running around trying to sear off a steak.
Well, you literally said to me, just braise some beef cheeks for tomorrow's show, and even I could do it.
Well, we had 5 minutes together. I taught you everything I know.
That's why you're such a good trainer as well, of course.
Thank you very much.
No, it's important that I think people know, you know, this show is not just about doing Wagyu cuts and the most expensive produce. Sometimes you've got to use something which is more reasonable. You can still make amazing dishes, and at the end of the day, keep everybody happy where you're getting it from. So if you're going to buy Wagyu, it's going to be more expensive.
Exactly.
If you're going to get Black Angus, then it's going to be less expensive than Wagyu, but more expensive than your normal basic French. But you know, when you see Black, and a lot of people say, "Oh, Black Angus is great," but you've got to remember, Black Angus. Exactly. You know the score.
Exactly.
If you're asking for Black Angus, do you want it to be Australian? Do you want it to be American? Do you want it to be Irish? These are three of the best.
Or France as well.
It could be French. It could be a French Black Angus cattle. So you've really got to ask, and it could also be interbred with other species. So everyone knows that you can have a full blood Wagyu. Sometimes, for example, Snake River Farm Wagyu is a cross between Wagyu and Black Angus. Not a lot of people know that. It's Wagyu, but it's a cross. You can get Black Angus crossed with Herefordshire, all sorts. And so that flavour is going to be very different, but also the price.
Exactly.
And that's where the price level comes in. One Black Angus is not the same as another Black Angus. And I think when you're ordering, it's important that you find out from your provisioner, if you're using a provisioner, exactly which one it is. They can't just say Black Angus, mate. They've got to know where they're selling it from, I think. And I think that's important.
And I think the other thing with going along the price range, what we, you know, something you've got, it's a little bit cheaper, but they're still expensive. They still have a price to it because you're buying good quality when you buy the best, okay? And that's where you supply the best. And we get that great flavour, and we're going to find that out today because we've got a fantastic flavour from that beef today. And I think difference, everybody going to do a charter, everybody wants Wagyu, or they're going to try and do a Wagyu, but I say try something different. Try something that's braised, you've got loads of flavour, and it's got a little bit more art, chef art involved by doing that. And I think it will, you know, it'll work out in your tips. Because you're using a better product.
I'm glad you said tips.
Because that's what we're looking for, isn't it?
Basically, show us what you're doing, because I think we should talk a bit more about meat. Obviously, we've chosen a beef cheek today to do
Yeah.
because it's going to be, well, it isn't as expensive as having your fillet and your sirloin, your ribeye.
Yeah.
Yes, it's probably a bit more expensive these days because it's asked for more.
Yeah.
And it is slightly more scarce than fillet, which is obviously quite a big piece of meat.
Yeah.
So, each cow has, well, two, doesn't it?
Yeah. But remember, with the the cows eating all the grass and it's the jaws are moving, so those cheeks have had a lot of work on them.
Yeah.
Over the time that the cow's alive. So it is a braising meat, and we can do many things with it. We can actually braise it down. We can actually strip that meat down, compact it, and then we can actually put it in the fridge and then take it out when it's all solidified, cut it into a nice little rectangle, sear it off in a pan, and then you'll have it on the plate with whatever garnish you want to do.
Yeah.
But what we're going to do today, we're just going to keep the beef cheeks. We've braised them, we've got loads, we've got bay leaf in there, we've got carrot, we've got all these different flavours in there. We've done a mustard grain mash to go with that, and then we've got sort of a few vegetables to it. So just for simplification of today, I'm just going to garnish up the plate so you can see what we're actually producing.
I'll move out your way.
Okay, so just going to put on our what I call Michelin mash, which is like full of butter. We love the butter.
It looks quite creamy.
Yeah, it's nice and creamy. It's got the butter in it. It's got a little bit of cream in it, and it's been finished off with that lovely Marley, or how you pronounce it, grain mustard. There we go.
Lovely, yeah.
So nice and simple. Now we're going to get our vegetables on next, right? Because I want to turn around and I want to be able to put the beef cheeks in the middle of the pan, in the middle of the dish.
I'm
There we
standing
go.
quite close, but that's just because we're on camera. I
That's
usually
fine.
wouldn't choose to stand this close to somebody. It's quite weird. Have you ever
Yeah.
had a conversation with somebody and they've talked to you and they're standing really close?
Yeah.
And as they're talking to you, you're like, why are you within my circle? But you have to when you're on the camera. So,
So-
yeah, excuse me for being
So
too
you've
close.
done this. You've done a fantastic job with this. I've got to say, I wasn't sure whether you'd be able to do it, but
It's
a little bit.
braised beef cheek.
Base brief, G. But it was about 5 minutes instruction from me over the phone last night.
I think that's why it was a success, to be honest with you. Basically, yeah, I mean, look, you need... when I cook, I like to put a lot of flavour into things, and so I really put a lot of flavour into this. I think that's what you were surprised at. You probably...
It was amazing flavour
I thought
that's
you
come out.
you
of it.
thought it might just be a bit bland when you came in. I'm glad you like it because for me, flavour in something like a beef cheek, it's super important, especially when you're braising. Sometimes you lose all that flavour in the water.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure when you're braising that you're actually adding some nice things there. I put some lovely things in it. Obviously, we're lucky here. We've got some great produce. But I think it's really come out quite good.
Oh, look at, it's so glossy. The sauce has been reduced.
Yeah.
It's got a beautiful look to it.
I'm glad you've got a bit more faith in my cooking ability now.
Well, I spent 5 minutes with you a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, and that's when it went down the drain, didn't it?
I've taught you everything I know. Anyway, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got our dish on there. We've got our beef. But one of the products I want to share
Can
with
you
you.
put the camera
Yeah.
down so we can see the plates?
So one of the products I want to use today is your black garlic ketchup,
Oh,
because
lovely.
I think it's we need to use products just to finish things off, and I think just with that we can just take a little bit onto the plate, a little line here, maybe a line over here. There we go. And this is sort of so much depth of flavour coming out of that black garlic ketchup. And I think it just marinates with the beef, and then all we need to do is just take some of that lovely sauce, reduction sauce, and just finish off the beef like that. There we go.
Looks nice, huh?
There we go. And that's your braised beef. We've got our fresh white asparagus. We've got our mustard mash, some broccolini, black garlic, and just garnished with some roasted tomatoes.
I
There we
mean,
go.
sometimes people would say, I've had it before where when a chef said to me the rotational chef on the yacht was not impressed with him using black garlic ketchup out of a jar.
Yeah.
I've got a few things to say about that.
Go ahead.
One, there's nothing wrong with cutting corners if you know which corners to cut.
Yeah.
That's number one. If somebody makes
good
an
point.
amazing product,
Yeah.
and that's what they professionally do for a living, then maybe try it.
Yeah.
Because you can make one fresh, of course you can.
Yeah.
But it's time.
Yeah.
Do you have the time to do it?
And space. Organisation.
Waste, all of these things are
Yeah.
very important on a yacht. For example, if you're making your own stock,
Yeah.
well, that's bones and waste that's got to be stored at sea in
Yeah.
a bin until you get somewhere you can get rid of it.
Exactly.
That sometimes isn't suitable for it, especially
Yeah.
for a smaller boat.
Yeah, you're
or
on a
even big
40
boat.
metre, yeah, but it's works on, yes, I've worked on 100, 150 metre yachts, and I've also worked on 30 metre yachts and 40 metre yachts. sometimes you don't have the refrigeration space.
Yeah.
You don't have the storage space. So using products is what we use. But again, the chef needs to understand the product and make sure it's right for them. And you do lots of testing. You went up to the big show, learning about all these new products that are coming up, and you know you're seeing it. From the chef point of view.
Well, I go and taste it because I know that chefs need some options.
Yeah.
They're not all. Sometimes they're going to say, "I've got plenty of time. I'm sitting in port for a month before we do anything. I want to make some stuff and get it prepared."
Cool.
But then you've got to worry about your life of the product. You know, if you do make a black garlic ketchup, you've got to use that the next 2 days, otherwise it's done. So this does give you an option, and I'm a big believer in cutting corners if you can. You don't cut the big corners, you cut the ones that just make it nice. It's a great product, and when you taste this, it's absolutely gorgeous. You know,
I wouldn't say cutting corners. You're using a product to complement a dish. So it's not about cutting corners. It's about making that dish maybe a little bit extra in flavour. Anyway, let's try it.
Should we have let's get three of these up here. Monique, do you want to come and join us and have a little taste? You've got flowers in your hand. It's okay. Come and have a little taste. Let's. If
Just
you
put
come
them
round,
on the table.
come round. Put them on the table. Come round this side. Have a little taste. Let's put these here for the moment. And let's have a little taste and see if Duncan's skills are as high.
Well, it's your skills because you actually.
Oh, shit.
So
Basically, let's have a little taste. Go for it. Yeah.
Go for it, yeah.
Let's have a little taste and see what this is
the
like.
beef has been cooking for so long
It's
now.
just
It's
falling
been
to
lovely.
pieces,
It's just
isn't it?
falling apart.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Have you
it's
tasted
intense. Yeah, I tasted it earlier. It was just intense. You did a great job, mate.
Wow.
Absolutely fantastic.
I'm
And if
quite
you
impressed.
taste a little garlic ketchup with it as well, and that's
Oh yeah.
you know, that little
Oh,
taste
great.
with that. And I think it gives you that intensity from both the garlic ketchup and the beef itself. Is and then you've got the broccolini. You've got the broccolini cutting through it as well.
Very nice.
Yeah. Cool.
very good.
I hate
Excellent.
watching people eat on TV, but yeah, I mean that goes really well. Broccolini with that dark, heavy flavour is really beautiful, isn't it? And with the mash as well, I think it's perfect. One thing I sometimes do with the beef cheek after braising it, I'll actually take most of it out, make sure it's drained quite well, and then I literally brush it with sesame oil and black garlic ketchup mixed together. And then roast it for just a few minutes, so it crystallises on the outside and gives it that nice flavour, that nice sort of sweet flavour.
And then you're moving down. Then you're moving down to an Asian style beef.
Absolutely.
And then you can do your rice with that, or you can do noodles with it as well.
Well, in
But
this
it's
I
really
actually
good.
put I put some star anise,
Yeah.
and I put some green cardamom as well in with the marinade, and in with the water and the wine and the balsamic and stuff, just to give it a nice flavour.
Yeah.
And it's a note in the background.
And
It's
you've
not
got
heavy.
Those, and that's the thing with flavours. Not you don't want to overpower it with loads of flavours, but ones that are suitable for beef, or whether you're doing it with lamb or another dish as well. So excellent. That's really good. I'm really pleased with that.
Yeah, it's a nice dish. I think it's a simple dish, but you can obviously you sort of raise it and raise it and raise it, can't you? Something like a beef cheek. I think it's great. I think what we'd like to do now maybe is go and have a little chat with our in-house amazing florist and see what we can find out whilst you're relaxing with a glass of wine probably. But yeah, I'll come over here. I'll try not get in your way. I brought my water over because it's been a long morning so far trying to set this up. So, welcome to Riviera Gourmet.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And yeah, let's have a chat. So, tell us what you're gonna show us first of all.
So first, this is a bouquet, and I make it with on different heights. That is important to let it look a bit more exciting. And what I want to tell is that it's very important when you put it in a vase that you cut all the stems of it, and that you have to be careful if there is a stem with like wood.
With the what? Sorry.
A wooden stem.
Okay, so
like-
tell me something. Why have you cut them? Why do they cut at an angle when they go?
Yeah.
I see this all the time with florists. They cut them at an angle.
Because then they can absorb more water.
There's
and-
more surface space to
Yes.
suck in water, because if it's
Yeah.
flat, you've just got the flat part.
Yeah.
If it's at an angle,
Yeah.
you've actually got a longer piece within
Yeah.
the water, so it's drawing in more.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the wooden stem you can cut with scissors, and the other ones you really have to do with a knife.
So you're doing it by hand with a knife.
Yes. Yeah.
And so what you're basically doing is taking all the lower leaves off, so you can actually
Yes.
put it in the vase.
No,
nice.
I take as many leaves off as possible.
Okay.
Because the water goes out of the flower through the leaves.
Okay.
So when it is cut in a vase and there are more leaves on it, then it will easily go down. And
Okay. So
feels
actually, more leaf on a rose, for example, in a bunch of roses means the actual flower will die quicker.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So actually, taking quite a lot of them off is going to be a benefit.
Yeah.
It's going to keep the flower lasting longer.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's also take much less energy for a flower.
Okay.
That is also when you cut them, because you have to be aware when you order flowers, that if it's really necessary to buy these long ones, because of course it takes more energy for the flower to absorb the water,
Okay.
and that is why
So it strains the flower, and
Yeah.
therefore it may not live as long.
No.
It will wilt quicker
Yeah.
because it's been more strained.
Yes.
That's sort of my
Yeah.
life, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, but I mean, with yachts, they do quite like long stems. So
Yeah.
in that situation, how long would a bouquet last on a yacht? Are we talking a week? Are we talking 5 days, 7 days, 9 days?
It depends, but in fact you have to clear the water within 3 or 5 days,
Okay.
and take a little bit of the stem again, because then it's
Revitalizes it a little
yes,
bit. So
yeah.
basically, one of the tips, if you've got flowers, bouquets on a yacht, is to try not to have the stem too long,
No.
if you can help it.
Yeah.
Take quite a few leaves off so that it's not sucking the water out through the leaf.
Mm-hmm.
And every 2 to 3 days, maybe rechange the water and recut the stem just a little
Yes.
bit, so it's
Yeah.
got a fresh area for it
Yeah.
to start soaking
Yeah.
in, and that will make them last longer.
Yes,
Okay.
and that's also some people uses a wire
Yeah.
around the bouquet, and then it stands for them perfectly.
Okay.
But in fact, everything what is put into the water, they come bacterial, so it's the flower dies
Okay.
earlier.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
And so
and that is also with the leaves. If they are in the vase, then they also make the bacterial. Why the?
I mean,
flower
you're the
dies.
expert. I got no idea, know nothing about flowers. So every day is a school day for me. But basically, as soon as you put them into water in a vase, they're going to start drawing in bacteria
Yeah.
and start reducing their life.
Yeah.
So ideally, if you receive flowers and you do create your own bouquets on
Yeah.
board and your own arrangements, you shouldn't arrange them 2 days before the clients arrive. You should, even if you've got the flowers. I'm just trying to work this out. So if I'm a stewardess on a boat, I receive my flowers in Antibes,
Yeah.
and I know we're floating over to Corsica
Yeah.
and picking up the owner or the charter
Yeah.
clients. A lot of them would say they'll get their flowers in Corsica, but theoretically you could get them here. You could not prepare them into the vases, leave them with the stems, leave them as they come for maybe a day. And then when you get to Corsica in the morning, you can then start preparing them, putting them into the vases for when the clients come on a little bit later, and you'd have them last longer.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That should be better, but you have to clean them immediately when they arrive
When you say
on
clean,
board.
what does that mean?
Yeah, take the leaves off and cut them.
Okay, so that's cleaning is
Immediately.
cutting them,
Yeah,
taking the leaves. Okay,
yeah.
okay.
And not put them away like this on a table or something like that. No, immediately into the water, not for 2 minutes.
Okay, so if I'm on a yacht, my client's arriving in Corsica. I want to get my flowers here because in Corsica it's going to maybe be a problem. I'm using Corsica as an example. I love people from Corsica, and it doesn't matter where it is. But we're traveling a day, maybe 2 days. Is there a world where we can buy the flowers, have them delivered to Antibes to the yacht, and then keep them in a condition not ready in the vase, because as we know that's going to start growing bacteria and wilting and all sorts of other issues. Is there a way to store them on board and then prepare them for the charter a day or 2 later?
Yeah, of course. But then you have to keep them in a dark room. That's the best. In cooled area, but not too much air conditioning, because the air conditioning also takes the fluid out of the flower.
So it takes the fluid out of everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So what degree are we talking? 8 to 12 degrees?
8 degrees, yeah, 8 degrees.
8
Yeah,
degrees?
12 is okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So
because
8 to
otherwise-
10 degrees
yeah.
maybe, and in a dark room.
Yeah,
So,
but,
okay.
and not in the neighborhood of fruit.
And
Yeah.
Chef, where would that be on a yacht?
So I mean, probably find a room that has got air conditioning, so it's keeping it cool, but it's in a big enough room so it's not being blasted at it.
Yeah.
And then you keep it 8 degrees. But so on the bigger boats, we've actually got fridges that are working at 8 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we could.
But you couldn't put food. If it's
You
got
know, but
food
you would.
in, you wouldn't.
But on the bigger boats, we've actually got dedicated fridges for the flowers.
Really?
So you would actually bang it onto a temperature of 8 to 9 degrees.
Wow.
And you could adjust that temperature on that fridge for that. So it'd be dedicated just for those flowers.
Okay, that's quite cool, isn't
And
it?
quite a lot of the stewardesses, they've gone on flower courses, extra, all these sort of things, and are really talented already. And I find that they've been bringing in the stems in, bringing the different flowers in, and then bringing them together.
Yeah.
But what you're offering is both. You can do that, but you can also, if people are in a hurry or they're busy, you can actually produce different sort of
Yeah, I mean, the
displays and
idea is,
stuff.
if somebody needs the bouquet made, created, ready to go, and we do
Yeah.
that a lot. We did it a lot last year, didn't we? Obviously, that's easy,
Yeah.
no problem. But I think some of the, like you said, some of the stewardesses really, this is an art form for them, and they
Yeah.
love doing it, and so they want to have some flowers and they want to prepare it themselves.
Yeah.
And it's a sort of pride in their work, and I get
Yeah.
that completely. It's like a chef ordering pre-cooked food.
Yeah.
It can still be nice, but it's not personal.
Yeah.
And it really feels like it needs to be personal sometimes on your.
And I think what's great now, because you're doing it in-house, is that they can phone up and they
Yeah.
can ask the questions that they need to ask.
Well, the good thing is we have groups for our interior teams on each yacht. And now, obviously, you're going to be on those groups. If they have any flower questions, you can just answer straight away. And they don't have to go to an extra personal.
Yeah.
We think it could work really well. We're trying to develop things that make it easy for people. We're not trying to cause problems. We're trying to make it simple for people who are on yachts, who have limited time. It's all about time. That's what we're trying to
Exactly.
save. That's what provisions are. We're
Yeah.
time savers. And hopefully experts.
Yeah.
And that's why you're here, because you're an expert in flowers. And I can't wait to introduce you to some of the boats and take you down to see some of the stewardesses and stewards, so you can really sort of flare with them, because they're going to get really excited when they meet somebody who's got a passion for flowers like you do. I have one question before we move on to our next section. Now, I know that these here next to me, everyone criticises my beautiful security tree that I love.
Yeah.
I've fallen in love with this thing, but it is fake.
Because of the color.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a colour. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just looks fresh, and
Yeah.
I think at this time of year in spring, we're not in Japan. We don't have the sakura trees.
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful,
Yeah.
but I have seen recently long life flowers.
Yes.
So tell me more about that, because they're actually is that
Yes.
okay?
It's a preserved flower. That's how you call it, and that is they are cut in when they are open,
Yeah.
and then they get they take the fluid not out, but they let them they feed them by another fluid,
Yeah.
like glycerine.
Like a what?
Glycerine.
Oh, glycerin.
Glycerin.
Glycerin, really?
Yes. Yeah.
Because I use that for my royal icing
Yeah.
Yeah.
to make
There you
it
go.
shine.
Yeah.
You do flowers now.
Yeah. I'm glad I've got that litre of glycerin.
So yeah, I don't know the exact process, but that is the beginning, and
Okay.
after that it will be kept under pressure.
So I
In a
suppose they're
special-
using it in the water and feeding it through the stem, I would have presumed. The glycerin, no? Would they do that?
Yeah, but that is finished already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one, yeah.
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 This doesn't need
So-
to be in water.
No.
Can you put
So
it
you
in water?
don't have to put them in the water.
But can
No.
you put water in it?
No.
You can't?
No.
No.
Okay. Okay, so this is, how long would this last? Because these actually look amazing. These look
Yeah.
like fresh.
Yeah.
Look at this one here.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few months till
Put that under the camera over here. Can you hold that under the camera?
Yeah, certainly.
Just slow down. so you can
Imagine
look.
imagine that for what, 3 months? I mean, that's
yeah,
nearly
a
the
few
season,
months
isn't it?
or 1 year.
Yeah, I mean, it looks great, doesn't it? And it looks completely real. It looks
Yeah.
natural. It doesn't look like that's well, it's
I mean-
not fake. It is a real flower.
And you feel it. I mean, it
Yeah.
feels like, it doesn't feel like material at all. It feels like a real flower.
Do
So-
you think, having worked on yachts for 400 years, do you think, do you think this would be something that's quite popular?
No, I think it'd be fantastic, and I think they can use it like, maybe singular, and they could or
Next
they
to the
can-
beds and stuff.
next to the beds or something. Or I'm not a florist or
No.
but I mean we use petals like roses and stuff, and we crystallize them like we've crystallized the lavender today.
Yeah.
So we can use them in the cooking,
Yeah.
and I like to use flowers for decorating cakes as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's well worth. It needs to be. It's not for a display somewhere on the boat, but these are fantastic. They're going to last. Those bits when
Yeah.
let's say you're in the Galapagos.
Yeah.
Guarantee you're not going to get many flowers in the Galapagos. I might be wrong there, but
It might be illegal to pick them though.
But exactly. But
I'll
these
move
are
that back over there.
those sort of things are absolutely fantastic to have a display or freshen up a display possibly. So you know, it's like we said with our chefing products. You know,
Yeah.
why not use the new things that
I
come
think
out?
you have to use everything. Look, people are using AI. Some people are against it. Some people look at me like I'm a fruitcake. Well, I really enjoy using AI. It saves a lot of time. But things like this,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know much about those, but they look to me real.
Yeah.
And I think to most people they look completely real.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, they've had some sort of something done to them to keep them alive. But on a yacht, you know, you're at sea, you're traveling to
Yeah.
Croatia, you need good I mean, it does make sense.
Yeah.
Look, I'd love to hear if any of you stewards out there, are watching today or are watching over the next few weeks, maybe in the comments write down what you think. Tell us what you think about things like that. I'd love to hear your opinion. But obviously, you know, we're here in the south of France. The sun is shining. Luckily it's shining. It's been pretty bad weather the last few weeks,
Yeah,
but this
it's good
last
now.
few days,
Oh, just fantastic.
it's just come that you can feel the spring is here. And with that in mind, we thought as the season's about to kick off, we would have a little look at some great product. And I went out this week and I checked out some amazing fruit and veg.
Saturday Yacht Kitchen.
So people are buying their fruit and veg from Holland and shipping it to the south of France. No offence, that's fine. It's cheap and it's not this quality. This is from Carros, which is just up the road. You can get there in 15-20 minutes. And look at this product. Look at these strawberries. These are just arrived in fresh this morning. And this goes to show you the quality you get if you buy French product. And underneath this, these are fresh from the farm, local fleur de courgette, so courgette flowers, and they are absolutely stunning. Look at the quality of this product that's just arrived. This is from Italy. It's come straight from the farm into the south of France. The argument is it's more stable if it's come from another country where it's maybe processed differently. And I would agree that your strawberries in the middle of the season from Holland are going to last longer. Of course they are, but they're grown in light in fertiliser. They're not that great in the sense of flavour wise. And as a chef on board, you have to make a decision with your fruit and veg. Do you want it to taste good or do you want it to last a long time? And sometimes you can't have both. I prefer to deliver to you twice a week and the clients are getting the best nutrients, the best item, fresh as can be. This is what you would call your herb station, but look at how beautiful this is. On there isn't one leaf or one tiny strand that's not perfect. I don't know if you've been to the shops recently, you've bought mint. Look at this, it's perfect. All of this is individual bunches like this. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Tomato's not just about how it looks, but how it tastes. And the great thing here is because we're in the south of France, we have the sunshine. We have a lot of tomatoes that are local, beautiful cocktail tomatoes. So slightly bigger than your cherry. Sometimes that's a really good size. I don't know if many of you tried green zebra. These are what you'd call Roma or plum tomatoes. These are a little bit more misshaped. If you want to have something decoration for the plate, really beautiful salad, maybe with some of our amazing burrata and smoked mozzarella that we have coming in from Italy weekly, which is handmade. This is the type of thing you would slice and have on the plate with the beautiful olive oils we have and the amazing balsamics, and you can make such a simple plate of food with just the best product. You can't always get asparagus from France, but when you do, buy them because they're the best. These are fresh asparagus from France. Asparagus do not travel well. Now remember, when you get to August and you ask for white asparagus, you're not going to get white asparagus. They may be possible, but they're going to travel a long way, which means the quality will be lower and you'll pay a higher price. Try and make your dishes relevant to the season that you're in if you can. Try and think of what's local now. And if you need to know, you can always contact us on your WhatsApp group. Now, if I said to you these are from Costa Rica, you're automatically going to assume that these are the best you can get. Not true. These have gone by boat, so they get picked, they're not ripe. They get ripened during their transportation. They go into massive containers. Most of the time, these would be gassed to keep them from going off. So they've got the air taken out and a gas put in to make sure that they don't get oxidized and therefore go bad. The flavour on this is not comparable to something that has been flown in. And this is picked ripe and flown in. There's a little bit of bounce in that skin. These are absolutely beautiful. The flavour's not as nice as the Carros, and therefore this strawberry is going to be slightly less expensive. This one has travelled all the way from Italy. Carros has come from up the road, and they're still more expensive, but there's a reason why they are. It's because the quality is the best. It's because the farming of it's the best. It's because it's got absolutely no additives to the soil. It shouldn't be there. So there we go. That's a little bit about fruit and veg. I basically could talk all day. I think later on in an episode when we get to maybe May time, I'm going to do a whole section on berries, because I really understand that berries are such an important thing on the yacht. And at the moment we're working on our Riviera Gourmet gardens. It's going to be fantastic. I can't wait for you to see it. But basically we have some of the most amazing berries. My favourite berries. Have you got top 3 berries?
Yeah, I mean, you've got so many different berries. You've got your berries from the alpine strawberries, for example, really delicate.
We have yellow alpine strawberries, which are almost double sweetness
fantastic.
and a slightly different flavour.
And it's that different, because you're serving berries for breakfast every day, aren't you? And it's trying to, if you can introduce something different. So you have your strawberries, you have your raspberries, your blueberries, etc. But you can just add that little bit of something different.
Yeah.
I think that makes a change, and it's easy, isn't it?
It's such a naturally good product, isn't it? You don't need to do much to it.
Yeah.
And the great thing about things like raspberries and strawberries is actually once they've died a bit, you can use them in other ways.
Yeah, coolies.
Yeah, exactly, which is really nice. We have grown in the gardens this year, in case any of you are curious. We have things like Japanese wine berries. I don't know if you've tasted those. They're absolutely phenomenal. And we also have Glencoe raspberries, which are a violet coloured raspberry. In the next few weeks, they'll be starting to get bigger and bigger. And I hope by probably mid to late May, we're going to start seeing some flowers. And then as we get into June, hopefully some of the chefs out there will be able to come and see us. And the stewardesses, of course, to have a little taste and taste really cool produce. But one thing I need to say before we go any further, I can't stress this enough. I have been to so many restaurants. One of my favourite desserts is creme brulee.
Yeah.
And I go to a restaurant in France. It's a French dish, and I'm so disappointed by how many people are buying this liquid in a Tetra Pak, banging it into a ramekin, and thinking that's creme brulee. It's not creme brulee. You can taste it, you can feel it, you can sense it. The texture's different. It's not flavoursome. It's not natural. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's not French. It's not France. If you're a restaurateur out there and you're in France and you've got a creme brulee that your chef's making out of a packet, please, for the love of God, stop. It's so simple to make. Even Duncan can make it.
There we go. Thank you.
All of that was leading up to that one line, basically. But no, listen.
But it's so easy to make it, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it really isn't. I can teach you a really quick trick, right? So forget about, yes, you get the recipe out, you look in a book, you do all this. Let's keep it simple. Right? 1 egg yolk, 100 millilitres of cream. Yeah? Your double cream. Yeah? Nice and easy.
You can use a 35% or a 40% for that,
yeah,
I presume.
40% is fine. A good quality cream, but you only need 1 egg yolk to 100 mils of cream and 1 spoonful of sugar.
Okay.
That's your the basic recipe. So if we double that up, if we take a litre of cream, we're going to use 10 egg yolks and we're going to use 10 tablespoons of sugar.
Okay.
And you can adjust that depending on your taste if you want to reduce the sugar down a little bit. And then you're going to use some really beautiful vanilla. Now, you're going to tell us about this vanilla because it's from Uganda, which is probably different, but Tahitian vanilla, different places.
I'm going to bore the hell out of people about this.
But this is fantastic. This is such a great product. Anyway, so do you want to talk about that now or a bit later?
No, I mean I'll just mention it now. These vanilla pods are from Uganda, so this is an organic farm. It's difficult to get organic vanilla. You want me to move? Oh, you want me to? Oh, you want to do it on the camera? Okay, of course you do. Yeah. So I don't know if you can see that. Basically, the vanilla pods from Uganda are very different. The camera's up there. Very, very different than your Tahitian.
Yeah.
Tahitian is very gelified. It's got like a gel inside with the little beads inside.
Yeah.
Whereas a Ugandan organic is going to be a lot drier.
Yeah.
So it's really smooth, satiny flavour. I don't know if can you just take a little bit that out there with your knife, and let's just show people, because it's really important that people know when they order it that it's not the same as Tahitian. I love Tahitian. I love the flavour. I'm not criticising. I love it.
Yeah, but this is another great product, though, isn't it?
And it's a different thing. Use it for different stuff. Now, basically, when I get this here, I'll try and get onto your knife there. This is like satin. When you have it in your fingers, if you just, you've used this, haven't you?
Exactly.
But it's just like satin, and the flavour is amazing. It's so
you can
different.
smell it now.
It's so
just
different.
gorgeous.
It's just a beautiful flavour, and obviously on these pods as well. I mean, you've cleaned these off a little bit, but they've got vanillin crystals. My hands are disgraceful. I'm in a gym, and you can see I've got calluses from the weights. But basically, working out. Yeah, I'm doing work. It's gardening. But you can see the vanillin crystals on there. They're absolutely fantastic. This is something you don't really see that often when you get vanilla. Very, very rare. But it means there's a high content of vanillin. I think maybe if you want to see more about it, we did a video last week when were you here?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. We've got 5 kilos just arrived, flown in from Uganda, direct from the farm, so there's no processing through other people. These are fantastic. You have to try them out. I always bore people about that, but it's one of my favourite things. It really is.
When you find a good product, you find a good product. There we
Yeah.
go. Okay, so we're just going to do a creme brulee with a bit of a twist today. So what I've done is we're going to, instead of putting it into a ramekin dish or anything like that, so we're going to be using a little tart case that I've made earlier today. One of the little tricks with this is we put the vanilla, this vanilla actually in the case itself, in the pastry. So it's just a basic sweet pastry with the addition of vanilla. But remember, you can add anything to it. You can add lemon to it, orange to it, depending on your dessert. One of the other, I like using the rings for this to make a nice straight edge on the side. And just if you want a little trick, just to tidy up your pastry case, just use a zester and you can just go over the top just to flatten it off and just take any little bits off, and it makes it just look a little bit more professional.
Do you know what I love about this? What I love about this, I mean, I see creme brulee in ramekins.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand that, but this is so much nicer because it's been handmade. It shows that it's actually a fresh product that's been made on board or wherever it may be. I mean, we're talking about yachts, so let's be honest. If you receive your creme brulee and it's in that, you know it's been freshly made.
Yeah.
You know it's cool. You know it's something the chef's taken pride in.
Yeah.
And that's what I love. Ramekins are great for creme brulee.
Yeah.
But this is taking it up a level, and I think it's really nice to see you making those. I didn't know you were doing that.
Yeah.
It's great.
But I think with the other things, like as you said, you're showing that you've made it yourself, and I think also you're introducing another texture to it.
Yeah.
So creme brulee, oh man, it's my favourite dessert.
Right.
You know, I love it.
Cream,
Brûlée, heart attack. Here we go. But no, but having the pastry case is really adding that flavour, crispness to it, or a little bite, little sablé. That's what we're trying to create. So very simple. So you've taken your egg yolks, you separate it from your egg whites, you put it into a bowl. Now, one of the biggest tricks I've got, or trick or thing to say, that my little personal thing is, do not add your sugar to your egg yolks until your cream has come to temperature, until it's ready.
Why?
Because what happens is the sugar starts to cure the egg yolks, and you're going to get little bits of hard egg yolk inside your creme brulee, and it's not going to taste nice, it's not going to look good. So always add your sugar at the last minute before you do anything else.
So what's the process with the cream? So you with the cream, you've got one in there.
So what we've done today is we've infused it, because we're talking about flowers, etc. today. I've done
Spring Floral Edition.
Spring Floral Edition. So what we've done is I've added lavender to this. Okay, lavender's not just coming in, but you can get a fantastic product. It's where they've dried the lavender, and that's immense flavour. Okay.
Look, somebody I know was up in the lavender fields last year when they just came out, and they brought back some fresh lavender. They put it into a bowl, dried it out, and it's still in the house now, and it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful. They gave it to me and said, you love your food and stuff, and it's basically just it's still like it was the day it came.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous, and that's nearly a year later.
Yeah. So it's a fantastic. It works really well.
Yeah.
So you want to, and this has always been one of my favourite creme brulee flavours, because it's a little bit different than the vanilla. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we do use the vanilla in this as well to even out the flavour, and then you've got a background taste of the lavender as it comes in, and you're going to taste it in a moment. It's going to be hopefully fantastic. You'll love it. So we've also used flowers today, and we're going to talk about that and about how you garnish the plate in a second. So, but let's get on with our so you got your egg yolks. Okay, we've infused our cream. We add the sugar.
How long have you? I take it you haven't heated it right now. You've just put.
No, I've heated this. I've done this beforehand, so I've just warmed it through.
You've blue peated this.
Not boiling it, blue peated it. Not boiling it, but bringing it up. Let that lavender and the vanilla infuse.
Do you find that difficult on an induction hob because of the heat change? It goes up and down, up and down. Do you find that really tricky compared to things like gas?
I would obviously, as a chef, I think most chefs prefer gas. Yeah. Induction can be a little bit tricky at times, and that's sometimes actually because the way the boats are, that it's actually connected to somehow with the engine room, and they actually start whistling to you, and sometimes they just go off. But hopefully that will happen on one boat before.
So have you had gas on a yacht?
No, only on I did it years and years ago. It was on a sailing yacht, but I'm not sure that it's really allowed.
Yeah, is it? Okay. I kind of figured that, because a lot of the chefs who work with are talking about inductions all the time.
Yeah.
I do find them quite annoying when you get to about a 6 On every one I've ever used, you get to a 6, it's not hot enough, and 7's too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's trying to get that balance
Yeah,
between
really
it.
tricky, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay, so we've just I've mixed the sugar in. I've mixed the sugar into the egg yolks. I've then added my cream, my infused cream with lavender and vanilla extra in there. That's gone in, and now I'm just not going to whisk it too much. You don't want too many air bubbles.
Yeah.
In it.
Because that's going to show on the top, isn't it?
Exactly, and I've got a little trick for that as well. So if we take our
Suck them out.
no,
Straw.
So anyway, let's grab our. So we've made here's the mix I've made earlier. Beautiful, nice and creamy.
Nice, yeah, lovely.
We pop it into our. Bring this over so
let's
everybody
put
can
it right
see
in the middle here, so we can have the camera down there. We just put in a brand new camera above us, so we can see down and have a look at what the chefs are up to and how they're preparing.
So just let it run all the way to the top. And our lovely pastry cases. With this pastry, so we've used actually a 44 cake flour for this, and it just makes
So
it.
that's a French cake flour. Okay.
So it's 44. Yeah, so you got your 44 for your cakes, for your gâteaux. You've got 55, which is an all-purpose flour, and then you're going up to your 60s for your bread flours, etc. Okay, so we've got our creme brulee mix in there, and then we're going to pop this in the oven. Okay, and you only want to put this on to about 120 and cook it slowly, because we've already cooked the pastry case, but we want a nice wobble to that finish. Yeah, if we cook it at 180, then it's going to go like scrambled egg.
Okay, that's good to know. So you want to have a low temperature. Cool. We'll open that for you. And so, should I pop up a little bit?
So and of course, in good Blue Peter fashion for the old chefs out there.
Now these look fantastic. Wait till you see this. Have we got it following me again? Yeah, I'll stop it. I'm going to come over here. Come over here, camera. There we go. Is it stopped?
Now,
is it pointing the right way? Yeah?
Okay.
Do you want it over this way a bit more? Hold on, let me just move it over.
Oh, here we go.
Move it here.
Oh,
we should have it on you.
Close.
There we go.
There we go. Cool. Okay, we'll stay there.
Wait. There you go.
Excellent.
Rocking and rolling.
Live TV for you.
It's got a life of its own. It just follows somebody around all the time. Sometimes it's pointing out there to somebody who's gone down the stairs. You're like, what's going on?
Fantastic. Okay, so we've made our creme brulee, and one of the things we're going to do is obviously do like a caramel top onto it to make that nice crack.
Let's have the camera down on this so we can have a little look, because I'll be honest with you, if this arrived at my table in a restaurant, I don't care whether it's got nothing else on the plate. I immediately know I've got a chef who gives a shit.
Yeah.
All I see in France, and I don't care where I've been, I see it says to me, the chef is saying to me, by producing creme brulee in a ramekin which has come out of a president container, they're saying to me, I don't care about you.
Yeah.
And if you're going to a restaurant and paying for your meal, I'm sorry, but why are you spending all that money making this place look lovely, beautiful steaks and lovely dishes and beautiful fresh fish, and then insulting me at the end of the meal with something that I don't really make at home very often?
But you're not saving time.
No.
Either. I mean, the mix, you heat up your cream with the infusion of lavender and a bit of vanilla. You put your egg yolks and your sugar together, mix it up. You just saw me do it. It's easy.
Easy
it
peasy.
doesn't take. It doesn't.
So
take time.
simple, and look how lovely it looks. It looks so natural and fresh. I really like the look of it.
Yeah. One of the things that we've done. One of the things that we've done now is something. Again, try and put a little bit of edge in it, so people understand that you have created your own stuff. We could just take some normal sugar, sprinkle it over the top, get our little blowtorch and blowtorch it and get our caramel crust. So, but what I've done today is we've used one of your favourite products.
Yeah, I love it.
It's a smoked sugar.
Granulated
sugar, so it's it's going to actually caramel a bit quicker because it's already been caramelized in that sense. But what we've also done is added bergamot to it.
I did that this winter, as you know.
Yeah.
We were here. We had some fresh bergamot. We took the peel off. We dried it, and then I use it for different things, flavouring oils, making olive oil flavoursome. But we put bergamot in this particular one just to give the sugar a little bit of that bergamonty Earl Grey flavour.
Yeah.
Earl Grey with creme brulee just goes really, really well in my opinion, and it mixes with that lavender and with the vanilla perfectly. It's a heaven. This is made in heaven by you, really. It's just such beautiful flavours.
But I think the other thing to remember is that if we've still got these and we've taken the seeds out, we're going to be putting these in all different products. We can put oil, sugar, salt, anything we can add to it to infuse that wonderful flavour of the vanilla. and then we can create an oil. We can create all sorts of things here.
Yeah.
So remember not to waste things. Use the product.
I'm a big believer in that. I mean, at home I have a container with sugar in, and smoked sugar, and I put all of my vanilla pods in there after I've used them, and I also have a bottle of oil. But the problem with the oil, it depends what you're making with an olive oil. So if you're using it, I use an olive oil and I'll put bergamot in it.
Yeah.
Now if it's dried, it lasts a lot longer.
Yeah.
If it's vanilla pods, long time. You can have it in there 6 months, no problem. If you use fresh peel, you've got a 2 to 3 week life before it starts to go rancid.
Yeah.
So you need to be really careful of that. If you don't dry it out properly, you will find that the liquid inside it will then go into the oil and you end up with a bit of an oxidization. It just goes funny.
All you need to do is put your oven on the low oven, leave it in there, and it will dry out lovely. And it just takes maybe overnight.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
and you've done it. So all I've done previously before that is I've just sprinkled it with our lovely sugar. Okay, got the nice little extra flavour background taste to it as well. And then all I've done is taken our little tiny blowtorch thing, and it's great. And we go over it a couple of times, and then you'll see the sugar starts to caramelise as well, as you can see here. So that's already made, and we're prepared.
How many times have you gone in a restaurant and all you can see is this sheen of molten sugar that's gone rock solid?
Yeah.
That doesn't actually. It's quite nice to hear the crack, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it's that thick, either really thick or hardly anything.
All I've done it twice. So a very thin coating of sugar.
Yeah.
Give it a caramel, and then another coating of sugar on top to build that layer up. So you do hopefully get a little bit of a crack out of it.
So can we have a little listen? Let me just let on it.
There you go.
Oh, nice. Sounds good, huh?
So
but it's soft still. It's only thin, which is great.
And then so we can just it's nice and warm still, so we can just pop it on the plate. And we've got our flowers that we've got. Let me move this out of the way.
Pop that one onto there, and then let's have a look at these. Bring the camera over so we can have a look on.
We can cut into that in a minute.
Yeah, we've got rid of the phone camera now. And now we've got the above camera, which I love. This downward view is just so cool. So it really helps. We've got
these, all the chefs have seen these and stuff, but the edible flowers that you can get. And there are some incredible new ones coming out that we can use. We've got nice, and you can use the flowers not just on your dessert. You can start using the flowers, like for example, this one has got a lovely fennel taste to it. So, or if you use like rosemary flowers, they are fantastic in a salad, and they work really well. But so I'm not fantastic, as garnishing. It's always hard for me to come up with something imaginary. But some simple flowers on there, just on the side, just to finish it off, especially in the summer. Lovely thing to do.
I think that is more attractive than sometimes I see people putting blueberries and stuff on the side. For me, it doesn't look as attractive. I love blueberries and raspberries and stuff, but for me, actually, the Glencoe raspberry, the purple one, is perfect inside the flowers here, decorated really nicely. Gives you something a bit different. I think if you put a red raspberry in, a red strawberry, a blueberry, it's just normal. I know that we're actually growing some pink blueberries as well. They're called champagne pink. But basically, that would also be quite cool because it's different, and I love things like that. Something a bit more jazzy, as they say. Yeah,
and then what we've done is I've just crystallised some of the lavender. Just for that extra little bit of garnish, and you can see the flowers are lifting it up, and it's presenting some height there for our garnish as well.
Monique, would you like to come and taste the creme brulee? Wow, I've never seen her move so quick. Did you see that? Woof, that was fast. Wow, instant reaction was yes.
Let me just show that if I can go a little bit further with this. So we just put it on a bowl.
We're only getting a half each. That's a shame.
But look, you've got the nice.
Come round.
As you see the sugar.
I'm quite upset. But
you can see the sugars crystallised nicely on the thing, and we open it up.
Wow, look at that.
Look at that.
Have you got the camera on the top again? Absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Look at that. And you can see that this is, it's just perfect.
It's nice and soft still. It's not, it hasn't been sitting in the fridge for an hour.
But the big question is, and this is really important, is can we taste it now, please?
You can taste it now.
After you, madam.
Okay, thank you.
It's even smaller now. Look at it. He's quite stingy, isn't he, with his cooking?
There we go.
Right, let's have this one over here. I'll have this
the advantage of it just being in a pastry case as well is that you could actually just serve. We could serve a half a dip. Don't have to. Some people
a half.
A half.
What do you mean a half?
Well, some more berries on there.
You gave me a half. I had to get the chef down now. Where's the rest of my creme brulee? I'd say.
So how's that?
Excellent. Very good.
That's absolutely stunning.
Right.
Now, any restaurant chef out there that sees me come in this summer that provides anything less than that needs to have a chat with himself. I'm going to be doing some reviews of restaurants this summer.
Yeah.
And it's not because I'm being nasty. I want good food.
Yeah.
I just want some of those chefs out there who I know can do this to try and do this rather than be lazy.
I think that it's so simple to, you know, if you want a little tip while you're doing these sort of things, when you've got some spare time, make the pastry up. Have it ready to go. Have it nice and flat. If you're going to be serving either individuals or you're going to use it on a big ring, you can actually walk in the morning, already take it out of the freezer, pop it on the ring. It's going to, as it thaws out, it's going to pop into ring. Bake it in the oven, bake it blind, and then you come up and you can put anything in it. Chocolate, you know, creme brulee.
That's absolutely stunning. You can, there's this lavender in the background.
Yeah.
But it's not strong. It doesn't hit you and go,
Yeah.
lavender, and there's nothing worse than somebody
Yeah.
saying, it's a lavender creme brulee, and all you can taste is
Just like
lavender.
that, yeah.
You're like, well, that's just
or
lavender.
It becomes like too much perfume.
Yeah, and actually what you've got here is a beautiful mellow infusion.
Thank you.
For the spring edition, I don't think you could have created a better dessert. But remember this, it doesn't matter what time of the year it is, you can produce this any time and it's perfect, because it is such a perfect, simple, easy, beautiful, well-crafted dessert.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for producing that. That is stunning. Any chef out there, create this if you ever want to make things happy. What's going on with Kate? We clapping? Are we clapping? Yeah. It really is absolutely fantastic. I can't believe that, and I'm hoping that there's more in the oven as well. We'll have those later. So what I'd like to do now is go over and say hello to Monique again.
Yep.
Have a little chat about our next little section before we finish for today.
Yes.
Am I in the frame? Can you see me okay? Yeah. So tell me, what we're going to talk about now? What's next?
Next thing is it has to do with the subject before.
Spit it out.
So to keep the flowers last longer. Normally for big arrangements or high arrangements, you can put them in a vase, as I made a bouquet before.
Okay.
But you can also put them in oases. And but it's very difficult for a flower to absorb the water.
Yeah.
And then you can also use this.
So in here you've got this. I'll just turn that so you can see. But this green,
Yeah.
I see this a lot in florists and,
Yeah.
and arrangements.
Yeah.
Is this to soak water in so it
Yes.
keeps things
Yeah.
moisturised as such?
Yeah.
And so it doesn't sit in water, because I take it some of them sitting in water means they
Yes.
get too much. So you use these to slowly feed it with water. Is that
No,
right,
but-
or am I completely wrong?
No, but in fact you cannot water a flower too much.
Okay.
No.
You can't
No,
water. You can't overwater it.
no,
Oh, okay.
only in the garden.
Every day's a school day.
Yeah. But
I'm
like
always
this.
overwatering my plants.
Yes, that's what I mean.
I've
in
got
the
an
garden
app
you
now,
have-
and every day it pings me and says, "Yeah, you've overwatered the flowers again."
Yeah.
You know, I've got plants around here, and they're always overwatered.
Mm.
I think Mandy does it a lot. I do it. A few other people sort of go, "I better water the plants." I bet Damian's forgotten. But at 7 o'clock at night, when everyone's gone, I'll water them again, and then I'll get this app that says, "You've overwatered your plants again, mate." Is that normal?
I don't know. Not for me.
Well, maybe after you have a look around, tell me what you think. So, okay, go for it. So, what we're doing here, I might just.
So
sit
this is nice because you can put the flowers straight ahead and in all the directions you like.
Okay. So explain that. So with this, it's allowing you to make the
Yeah.
flowers sit correctly and
Yeah.
look like they're in the right position.
Yes.
So theoretically, you can make it look like it's sort of and build it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the easy part of that. Instead of a vase, you can make a high arrangement and just for a small corner or
Okay.
to put some attention to a special area.
And what's this you've got in your hand?
So this is called a kinza,
Okay.
and it's used in it comes from Japanese arrangement flower arrangement, floral art, and it's hard. You can put flowers in it, a bit the same like that, but small, and it's heavy. But then the flowers can drink a lot, still,
Wow. Okay.
and you can put them in every direction you like.
Yeah. Okay. So you cut the stem, and then that pokes onto
Yeah.
the spike,
Yeah.
which means you can actually, again, like we were talking about this,
Yes.
same sort of style
Yeah.
idea. You can
Yeah.
put them in different angles.
Yeah.
You can do the same thing to make sure that you have something looking a bit different.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool, isn't it?
So it's better for the flowers because they get normal water.
Okay.
You see it when it is gone, or you put it in another vase. But
Okay.
And in fact, the Oasis is not that good. There's plastic inside. It's not
In this here,
Yeah.
there's plastic in it.
Yeah.
So this means
better
you're
for
not
the
okay.
environment.
Better for
And
the
you
environment.
can also, you can also every time you can use it, you can reuse it.
Yeah,
And
this you have to throw in the bin.
Yeah.
So this is not good for the environment.
No.
This is great for the environment.
Yeah.
So when you're providing decoration, actually what was it? I can't even remember. Arrangements.
Yeah.
You may use these to do your arrangements.
Not always. It must be a request.
Oh, you
Because-
want, so this is
yes,
a request. What's
yeah.
this called?
Kensan.
A what?
Kensan.
Kinson.
Yes.
Kenson or Kinson?
Yeah. Ken.
Kenson.
E.
Kenson.
K.
Okay.
E.
K-E-N.
Z.
Z.
You
Kenzen.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. So that's quite cool. But
But
basically,
it's expensive, so we have to get it back.
yeah. So basically, if they want these, they can have these.
Yeah.
But then at the end of their trip,
Yeah.
when they get the next
They
flowers,
have-
they return
yeah.
the old ones. They
Yeah.
get new ones
Or-
and the new
Yeah.
flowers.
I think the girl, the stewardesses and stuff, they'd be so interested in buying those anyway. For
Oh, do you
the
think
yacht.
so?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a market for that.
I wonder if it's something. Do people know about this who are in flower arranging a lot? Is it a new thing, or has it been around a long time?
It exists very long.
I've
because
never
the
heard of it.
Japanese use it by ikebana,
Ah, okay.
but it's not used here very
Yeah.
often, I think.
I'd love to know. I should stand up a little bit weird, sitting down in the corner. These move this out of the way. Basically, I'd love to hear some comments from any stews and stewardesses out there who can maybe give me an indication on whether they've seen these. Can you just pull it out for me a second? Because I think that's really. Be careful not to hurt myself. Wow, it's heavy,
Yes.
and that
So
turns
that
in the
makes
water
also
as well.
the vase stable, more stable.
So it makes the vase
Yeah.
more stable
Yeah.
on the boat. A lot of the boats would use museum gel underneath
Yeah.
the vase
Yeah.
anyway, I think. But this does give it a bit more weight, which is quite good. It's got spikes on it, you can see here. I'd love to know if the stewardess is out watching today or later on the week or whenever, if you can write in the comments, just tell us what you think of something like this and whether it's something you think would be useful to have on the boat. And we'll see if we can get. Maybe we can sell them. I mean, if people find them useful, like
Yeah.
you said, maybe it's
Yeah.
something
Okay.
people want. Okay, what else would you like to tell us about? I mean, one of the things I really want to know is what are your top tips for? Because I know on a yacht they often have on the aft deck nice arrangements. Okay,
Yeah.
they could be anything up to a metre long, couldn't they?
Yeah.
In some cases, they have to be really cool. They might just be white flowers, or they might just be red flowers, or it might just be greenery. I see a lot of them made of tropical flowers. I'm not a fan of those. I don't like the way they look, but some people, they like to have them because they're going to last longer. But if you have an aft arrangement, metre long, maybe 20, 30 centimetres high off the table, there's salt air. There's salt water in the air. That's a corrosive, isn't it?
Yeah.
For flowers, it's going to destroy them. You've got 35 degrees. What can someone do to keep that arrangement as long as possible, looking in the best condition?
Normally, arrangement from 1 meter is made out of more parts, not one.
Yeah.
So you can take it off.
So you can replace it.
Yeah.
Okay. But
Yeah.
what would you do? You're on the deck. You've got your aft arrangement. It's a metre long. There's a bit of wind out today. Not crazy wind, but it's going to be blowing water into the air from the sea. Is there anything they can spray it with? Is there anything they can do with it to make sure it's protected? Or is it only going to ever last a certain amount of time?
Yeah, you can try to spray it, but
What would you spray it with?
you can use hairspray.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh well, that's something new.
You can actually spray your arrangement with hairspray, and that
Also, yeah.
protects it a little bit.
Yeah.
Wow.
If it-
okay.
Yeah,
your
they
guest-
say it, but
if
I
the
don't
guest-
think it
yeah.
lasts long.
If they sometimes the guests go out for the
Yeah.
day on trips or whatever it might be, could you take that off and put it back into your fridge of 8 degrees or your
Yeah.
small room, darkened room? Would that
Yeah.
help it?
Yes,
Yeah.
but small dark room, not from the outside, from
Yeah.
30 degrees into 8 degrees.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
going to ruin
That's
it like fruit and
the-
veg.
Oh, yeah.
If
Yeah.
you change the temperature up and down, it's
Okay.
going to die quicker. That's the
There you go.
problem.
Yeah.
I think it's probably the same for flowers.
Yeah.
I
And the
know that
chefs.
when we transport flowers, the big issue, and obviously Chinmay, our warehouse manager's here today, so he's the one who gets it. He's always getting this question. Damian, I've got flowers in the van, but we've got fruit and veg. It needs to be at 5 degrees, but the flowers need to be at 8. And Monique said 8 degrees. And we do have an issue with that. It's a problem when you're doing flower deliveries, longer distance, of course, to have something at 8 degrees when your fruit and veg needs to be at 5. And like you said, you don't want your fruit and veg in the same environment because it's actually producing a chemical which is going to kill the flower quicker as well.
Yeah.
We actually have these special pods we put in with our fruit and veg which suck in that bacteria, well, that chemical, for long distance, especially for export, which really helps. But I can imagine it's going to cause some damage to the flowers if you have these two things together for a long period of time.
Yeah.
Obviously, from here to Antibes, it's not serious. Monaco, but if you're driving to Naples, you know, it's an overnight drive. It can probably cause some problems, can't it?
Yeah.
It's a tricky thing, isn't it? Flowers traveling is going to be hard.
Yeah.
It always is.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think these flowers, like you were talking about, could be a solution for the longer trips when you've got to have stuff in places which is a bit more remote, a bit harder to find stuff. So it's important to do that. I think really the lesson to all of this is, one, I have a lot to learn about flowers. Number two, it's best to ask you and not me. And I think 3, now that you're here, you can really offer amazing advice. I know we're probably going to do a masterclass at the Miba show, which is only in a few weeks away down in San Remo. So that's going to be fun. And I think if anybody wants to contact you, to just get through to Riviera Gourmet in the normal way and we can put them in touch. But thank you for coming today. I really, really enjoyed it. It's eye-opening for me because I know nothing about flowers. You've changed my world with your creme brulee.
Oh, thank you very much.
Obviously, you feel the same about my beef cheek.
Oh no, your beef cheeks were wonderful, but better than mine.
But all I wanted to say before we leave is, we hope you've enjoyed our floral edition. It's getting close to the season. We're going to be doing quite a lot of shows in the next few weeks. And of course, hopefully, we're going to announce this today, we're hopefully doing a live Saturday Yacht Kitchen at the Miba show in San Remo between the 28th and the 1st of May. That will be utter carnage. We're not even sure if the internet will work, but we'll give it a go. And the worst that comes to worst, we'll have it record. Yeah, we'll do it on an iPhone and stream it to Instagram Live. Yeah. But basically, thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. It's been fun again. Thank you to our in-house chef who's been here quite a lot, Duncan. Yeah. Thank you very much, Duncan.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Monique. It's been really lovely having you here today. Thanks for coming at short notice as well. And let's hope we have a great summer here this year. And thank you to everybody who's joined us on YouTube. And if you haven't, tell everybody you know to come and have a watch. And we'll see you soon. Thanks very much from Saturday Yacht Kitchen.
Saturday Yacht Kitchen.